For today, opinion is divided over the shooting of a Hong Kong protester. The plans for the Tuas port to be the world's largest automated terminal by 2040. And a Straits Times special launching tomorrow, photo exhibitions featuring the best in news photography. Good evening and welcome to The Big Story. I'm Dylan Ang, coming to you live from the Straits Times newsroom. Now let's start with Hong Kong, where the violence appears to be getting worse. The first Hong Kong protester shot during months of unrest has been charged by police. The 18-year-old student was charged for rioting and assaulting a police officer amid widespread protests and violent clashes on Tuesday. Today, though, many people are asking whether the shooting was justifiable or not. Some say it has been a long time coming, and others call it a clear sign of excessive force by police. Now, here to tell us more about the mood on the ground, we have regional correspondent Elizabeth Law, who is joining us live from Hong Kong via Skype. Hi, Liz.
Hi Dylan.
Hi, Liz. Are you calling us from a cafe?
I am at a cafe in Wan Chai because apparently there's better internet here than my hotel room, which is a little talky. Anyway, so yes, back to what we were talking about. People have been talking about how this protester was shot on Sunday, and obviously opinion has been very divided. On one side, we have the pro-police, pro-government people, and on the other side, of course, we have the pro-democracy folks who are saying that police have constantly been using excessive force, and this is just yet another example of this. Firstly, we go back to the first group where people are just talking about how the pro-government, pro-police people. There have been videos of the incidents circulating around the internet, and if you look at it, you will see that these protesters have been chasing the policemen, a team of them for quite a few blocks, over 100, 200 meters. They've been chasing them for a bit, and then a bunch of them get separated, and suddenly one of these policemen gets attacked, and he falls, and people are beating him, throwing rocks at him, and his colleague comes and tries to rescue him. And this colleague comes, on his left hand, he's holding a rifle, on his right hand is a gun. So when he points his service revolver at the protester who's attacking his colleague, the protester hits him with a pipe. Now, we're not quite sure what material that pipe is. It hits him on his trigger hand, and that's when the shot was fired. So now there are a lot of questions, and of course, the opinion is divided. On one side, they're saying that, look, this is justified because they've been chasing the policemen, they're beating them, they're throwing rocks at them, they're throwing petrol bombs at them. Surely this use of force is justified, and obviously the scenes from the weekend show that it's pretty chaotic. They're setting fires to things, and they're beating and throwing things. Whereas on the other hand, questions have been raised that look, he had two weapons. He had a much more non-lethal rifle on his left hand. So why did he in fact use the pistol on his right hand?
Right.
Well, so yesterday when there was a police press conference, we had the deputy commissioner of police saying that he had no choice and his life was under threat. So, I mean, these are questions that still will take a while to be answered. But the fact is, the police have said they will look into this matter and they will investigate. And obviously, there has been an outpouring of public opinion in support of this student, because yesterday night we saw thousands come up in various districts across Hong Kong, where they rallied in support of him.
Right. Now,
yes.
Oh, sorry, but it's interesting you talk about police violence and just violence in general. I mean, headlines have been dominated by the student getting shot, but in addition to that, of course, we all know that there's been other casualties as well.
Yes, of course, there have been several casualties. The latest being Ms. Betty Indah, who is an Indonesian journalist working here in Hong Kong. She worked for Surah, a Bahasa Indonesian newspaper here that is quite popular. So she was the latest is that she is going to go lose her sight in her right eye. She will go blind in her right eye because of getting hit by a rubber bullet from the police. So what happened was that she was live streaming from a bridge in Wan Chai, not too far from here where I am actually. And as you can see from the scene here, and this is and she's live streaming when a rubber bullet hits her. So what we know is that she was hit in the face, and because of that, she will go blind in her right eye. Her left eye, we're not sure of the damage yet, but she had to have stitches around it.
I mean, I think it's a
Yeah.
really volatile situation on the ground. It looks like she was well protected, but still, she got injured. Have you yourself been taking any safety precautions?
Yes, well, I think you have seen pictures, and we have been sending back pictures that all of us have at all times dressed in vests that say the word press. Now, not that well. I've got a helmet here as well, and I also have a full face gas mask in case of tear gas. And we used to have goggles, which what was Miss Debbie was wearing. But ever since we have got these full face masks, it just didn't seem sensible to wear goggles on top of the mask. I think we have pictures as well of Claire, who also with our Davao colleague has similar get-up as well.
Right.
But despite all the precautions that we take, sometimes things do happen because our colleague Jun Liang, the photographer, he was pepper sprayed a few weeks back when he got a little bit too close to police officers. So no matter how much you prepare, there are times that things do happen. But of course, we are constantly assessing the situation on the ground whenever things get too violent. Now that's a picture of Jun Liang shortly after he got pepper sprayed. But we are constantly assessing the situation, and when you sense that things are getting violent, we always pull ourselves out of the situation because there is no story in the world that is worth it. And I suppose, as I tell our bosses at the Straits Times, maybe I'm very good at dodging projectiles because I've been dodging work all this while.
Well, Liz, of course, we definitely wish you all the best. Please stay safe, and thanks for all the updates on the ground. Now, you can follow Liz as well as our other Hong Kong correspondent, Claire, on Twitter for the latest updates on Hong Kong. So once again, thanks, Liz, for calling in and joining us on the show.
Thank you, Dylan. See you.
Now, moving on to our second segment, rethinking the future of shipping. That's what Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong said today at the groundbreaking ceremony of the future Tuas mega port. When it's fully operational in 2040, the new port is expected to be the world's single largest fully automated container terminal. Among its innovation is a fleet of fully electric driverless automated guided vehicles to transport containers between the wharf and yard. Meanwhile, automated rail-mounted gantry cranes will allow the operator to remotely supervise multiple cranes. Now, here with us to tell us more is Fabian Koh. Hi, Fabian.
Hi, Dylan. Hi.
Now, Fabian, you were at the site covering this groundbreaking ceremony this morning. Give us an idea of how massive this new port is going to be.
Okay, so when you stand there, right, today, and look out, there's really nothing. It's just an expanse of like water and sand and some cranes, some boats floating around. But come 2040, it's going to be like a spectacular flurry of activity. Yeah, it's going to be the world's largest fully automated port. Yeah, it'll be the size of like 2 Ang Mo Kios.
Wow.
Yeah, that's actually really huge. And I think we saw earlier the artist's impression. There are 4 fingers sticking out. That's the main berths, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the perimeters of the berth actually form 26 kilometers. Yeah, that's half the horizontal length of Singapore. Yeah, and
That's massive.
yeah, that's basically you walking from Marina Bay Sands to the zoo in Mandai. And currently today, right, our ports can carry 36 million 20-foot equivalent units.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 20-foot equivalent units, TEU, that is the unit of measurement for cargoes. Yeah, but when 2040 comes along and it's fully operational, we'll be expecting at least 65 million TEUs. Yeah, that's like almost double. And basically the full automation that we spoke about earlier, right? Yeah, we'll be looking at things like driverless vehicles, we're looking at things like drones. Yeah, it's really, everyone's really excited to see it slowly develop.
I think, Fabian, going on what you've just said, what does this port, actually mean for Singapore on a global scale? I mean, we know that it's going to change Singapore, but what does it mean for us?
Well, for us on a global scale, I mean, obviously it's going to raise our standing in the maritime industry. It will definitely allow more cargo to pass through.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the capacity of container ships nowadays, they have increased like drastically. Yeah, when the first container ship arrived in our ports, the MV Nihon, it only carried like 2,000 containers.
I see.
Yeah, but today, the largest container ship in the world can carry like over 10 times of the amount. It's actually 24,000 containers. Yeah, so we are prepared to welcome and like have those massive ships berth right here in Singapore. Yeah, we have the capability for that.
I mean, okay, but so what is, what does, I think some people out there would be curious to find out, what about, job opportunities wise for Singaporeans?
Job. Well, when it comes to jobs, well, fully automated port, right, we can definitely expect like very high-tech sort of positions, pretty cool jobs. I'm sure young people will be pretty interested in them.
Like what you mentioned about the drones.
Yeah, correct, those kind of very cool stuff. So, in fact, right, there's actually space set aside at the Tuas port for businesses companies to set up there so that there's better synergies between the port and businesses. Among them, right, there's also an area set aside for startups to incubate. It's called Pier 71. So we have that like cool startup vibe going on there. This morning at the event, Prime Minister Lee actually encouraged young Singaporeans to take up jobs in MPA, PSA, join companies in the maritime industry. Yeah, because it's really a very crucial sector.
And I think he mentioned something about how he wants young Singaporeans to shape the maritime industry for us.
Correct. I mean,
and leave their own mark on it.
Yeah, so it's really the young people of today will be the adults of the future. So they will be the ones who actually use the port, and yeah, they have to mold their image and ideal of what they want it to be. And as for the pre-existing workers, that area in Tuas is actually quite ulu. It's very, very difficult to get there. To get there this morning, we took a very, very long bus ride. Yeah, so PM Lee actually said that they will be improving the transport connectivity to that area.
Right.
Yeah, but that's like a longer term plan, and that will take time. But for now, he promised that the government is going to help the workers get there conveniently and comfortably, working together with the unions to get on that.
Well, it sounds like we have a lot of exciting things
to
look forward to. Thanks, Fabian, for telling us a little bit more about what we can expect from the future Tuas port. Of course, if you'd like to see the full story, you can always head down to our website. It's straitstimes.com. Now, moving on to our final segment, more than 250 of the most powerful images captured by local and international photojournalists in the past year will be on display this month at Through the Lens, a photo festival organized by the Straits Times. Through the Lens celebrates the best in news photography and comprises both the Straits Times photo exhibition and World Press photo exhibition. It will launch tomorrow and be open to the public from the 5th to 27th of October. Now, to tell us more is picture editor Stephanie Yao, as well as photographer Lim Yao Hui, whose photo on the Hong Kong protest will be showcased at the exhibition. Hi both.
Hi. Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Now, okay, I understand the Straits Times photo exhibition will have 7 sections this year. So Stephanie, maybe you could tell us a bit more about that.
Okay, so basically it's a showcase of the local photos that we've shot over the last 2 years or year and a half. So we've got sections news, feature, world, sport, home in focus, and actually another section on climate change. And also a special project that we did this year for National Day. It's called #MyHomeSG. Yeah, so they're all locally produced, and they basically tell the stories of Singaporeans and the Singapore way of life.
Now, Yao Hui, you took a photo of that pivotal moment where protesters smashed the glass, a glass panel actually in Hong Kong. Tell us a bit more about that.
So that day I reached Hong Kong around noon. Then I immediately rushed to the hotel to put down my luggage. And after monitoring the news, I found out that the protesters were, most of them were gathered at the Leshko building, and they were trying to break into the building itself. So after putting down my luggage, I rushed over, and it was quite chaotic there. A lot of people around the entrance. So after taking some top-down shots from a bridge, I went down and squeezed with the rest of the media.
Yeah, I think we actually have a very nice, kind of like a nice picture of you getting squashed and squeezing with other media.
Yeah, because all of us were trying to get a good shot of the protesters trying to break the glass panel, and we were like packed like sardines, and this went on for many hours. Then eventually around 9 p.m. they managed to break into the building, and we all were all inside, and they were vandalizing and spraying graffiti all over, and all of them went inside the chamber as well, and destroyed everything inside.
Right. I mean, we've been talking a lot about photos, but the exhibition will also showcase videos done by the ST photo team. One of them is about skateboarders' memories at Margaret Drive. Let's take a quick look at the video.
I said, where the hell is Go Sports? It's at a ghetto place called Margaret Drive.
Back then was fun. Spend most of our teenage time together with $2 in a pocket. Then after when we are allowed to skate in front of the shop where the planters are removed, then it will become like a mini skate park.
Yes.
Now, Stephanie and Yahui, we've been talking a lot about the Straits Times photo exhibition. Let's not forget the World Press Photo Exhibition, which is actually being held in Singapore for the 5th time this year. What are some of the highlights this year, Stephanie?
We will be exhibiting the World Press Photo Winner of the Year, which is a picture of this Honduran girl, little girl, and her mother being arrested by Border Patrol in Texas, USA. So that is the overall winner of the World Press Photo, and it was taken by a quite famous photographer called John Moore. That and plus there are 157 images on display in total, and they're being exhibited at the Stanford Gallery at the National Museum of Singapore.
Right.
So besides this one, I mean, there are many other beautiful and arresting images that people can come and view. And they can kill two birds with one stone because they can view the ST exhibition and the WPP exhibition at the same time. It's totally free.
I mean, Yahui and you and Stephanie and other colleagues will share, your thoughts in a series of weekly talks and panel discussions at the museum itself. And I see that some interesting topics include the Hong Kong protests, drone photography, as well as climate change. And Yahui, maybe on a final note, you can tell us, where the exhibition is going to be held.
It will be held at the National Museum and it's free, so do come down and support us.
So don't miss your chance to come down and check out the exhibitions. Like what Stephanie said, you can kill two birds with one stone, and come and support our local photographers. Now, those were the top stories of the day. For more news and videos, do head on down to our website at straitstimes.com. Now, once again, I'm Dylan, and thanks for tuning in. Join us tomorrow for more stories on The Big Story.